Your $500 GPS, 1,000 waypoints, global connectivity. Now, it's a paperweight. An electromagnetic pulse just sent us back to the Stone Age. Your digital lifeline is cut. The screen is dead. Your smartphone is a brick. That tactical flashlight you overpaid for is just a piece of hollow plastic. There's no power, no signal, no grid. Now what? The skills that kept our ancestors alive aren't a history lesson anymore. They are your new mission parameters. That voice in the back of your head, the one that feels ancient. You are ordered to listen to it. This isn't a drill. This is a tactical briefing for a new reality, a reality where the most valuable weapon you have is the one between your ears. We're breaking your dependency on microchips and handing you back the power you gave away. This is primitive logic. Let's be clear about what just happened. An EMP isn't a blackout. It's an execution. A silent, invisible wave of energy that fries electronics from the inside out. Anything with a microchip is now a potential casualty. Look at your go bag. That solar charger? The control chip is fried. It's useless. Your digital radios? Silent. That state-of-the-art water filter with the UV light? It's just a complicated bottle. Your vehicle, if it was built in the last 40 years, isn't going anywhere. Its electronic control unit is a puddle of melted silicon. This is the consequence of the microchip lie. The myth that more tech means more security. We were sold a bill of goods, convinced that a gadget exists for every problem. But in a true grid-down collapse, these gadgets are liabilities. They're fragile. They're dependent on systems that no longer exist. Every battery has a final charge. Every circuit has a breaking point. Our ancestors crossed continents with tools of stone and bone, guided by a hardwired understanding of the world. Their technology was their mind. Their power source was their will. Modern society is fragile, but that ancient knowledge is hard target. It can't be deleted by an EMP. It doesn't run on batteries. It's the ultimate survival software, and it's time for a hard reset. The shift from digital dependence to manual self-reliance is the mission. Your success or failure depends on it. It's not about who has the most gear. It's about who holds the most practical knowledge. That feeling of helplessness you get from a dead GPS is the enemy. You defeat it by replacing technology with mastery. You replace it with primitive logic. This is not about regression. It's about becoming a more effective human being. More aware, more lethal, more resourceful. It's about mastering the fundamental principles of the physical world, principles that were forgotten but never erased. Today, we cover the core competencies that directly replace the dead electronics in your pack. These skills will allow you to navigate the terrain, orient to a timeline, and create the tools required for long-term operations. Your briefing is as follows. First, natural navigation. Finding your vector when your map and compass are ghosts. Second, sun time. Tracking daylight and managing your operational clock without a watch. Third, friction fire. Commanding the element of fire when your lighters are empty and your ferro rods are gone. Finally, the universal toolkit. Forging the instruments you need from the raw materials of the battle space. This is your new operational framework. Let's begin. Your GPS is dead. Panic is trying to set in. Where are you? What's your vector? The answer isn't in your hand. It's all around you. Your most reliable asset for day navigation is the sun. It rises in the east and sets in the west. This is your baseline. We can get more precise. The shadow tip method is an ancient, effective way to find your bearings. Here's the procedure. Find a straight stick about a yard long. Drive it into the ground in a flat, open, sunlit area. It will cast a shadow. Take a small, distinct marker, a pebble. Place it exactly at the shadow's tip. This first mark is your west indicator. Now you wait. The sun moves, the shadow moves. Give it 15-20 minutes. Enough for the shadow to move a few inches. Place a second marker at the new tip of the shadow. This second mark is your east indicator. Scratch a straight line in the dirt between your first marker west and your second east. You now have a true east-west line. Stand with the west marker to your left and the east marker to your right. You are now facing true north. This works in the northern hemisphere. If you are operating in the southern hemisphere, the indications are reversed. The first mark is east and the second is west. At night, the stars are your primary overhead asset. In the northern hemisphere, your fixed point is Polaris, the North Star. It's not the brightest star. Its value is its position. It's fixed over the North Pole. Find the Big Dipper. The two stars on the outer edge of the bowl are your pointer stars. Trace a line up from them and it will lead you directly to Polaris, the last star in the handle of the Little Dipper. You find Polaris, you found true north. The terrain itself is your map. Water flows downhill. That means gullies and streams will eventually lead to larger rivers, and rivers often lead to evidence of civilization. Prevailing winds can cause a uniform lean in the trees. Vegetation tells a story. In the northern hemisphere, north-facing slopes are cooler and damper, which means they'll host different plant life like moss than the sun-blasted southern slopes. Reading these signs is a language. You need to become fluent. In a world without schedules, you might think time is irrelevant. You'd be wrong. Time is daylight. Daylight is your window to travel, fortify a position, or gather assets before the cold and dark arrive. Your watch is dead. The sun is the only timepiece you have left. Use your hands. Extend your arm, lock your elbow. Hold your hand flat, fingers tight, and place your index finger under the sun. Now, count the number of hand widths you can stack between the sun and the horizon. Each hand is roughly 1 hour. Each finger is about 15 minutes. 1 hand and 2 fingers means you have approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes of usable light remaining. That's your critical intel. It tells you when to stop moving and when to establish your overnight perimeter. It's a simple, vital skill for managing energy and mission security. For more precision, your navigation stick, the gnomon, is also a clock. The shadow tip method creates a basic sundial. Marking the shadow's position at regular intervals tracks the day. The shortest shadow it casts marks local noon, the sun's highest point. Noon is your anchor. It's the fixed point you can use to judge the rest of your day. Time is no longer a number. It's a resource. It's daylight. And you're always running out of it. We're covering critical intelligence. If you find this briefing valuable, confirm you're on this channel. Subscribe. You need to be in this network. We are building a community of operators who are prepared. Now, a tactical question. Grid down. What is the one piece of non-electric gear you stake your life on? A quality blade? A solid axe? Sound off in the comms below. Your field experience is valuable intel for the entire unit. Fire is life, it's warmth, it purifies water, it cooks your food, it hardens wooden tools, it signals, it keeps predators out of your perimeter. Your lighter is empty, your matches are soaked, your flashlight is dead. You will turn to the oldest method, friction. The bow drill is one of the most effective friction fire methods. It looks intimidating. It's not. It's about physics and proper material selection. You need 4 components: a fireboard, a spindle, a handhold, and a bow. First, the fireboard and spindle. Use medium-soft, non-resinous wood, cedar, basswood, poplar, aspen. The wood must be bone dry. The spindle is a straight, thumb-thick stick, 8 to 12 inches long. Whittle one end to a dull point, the other to a fine point. The fireboard is a flat piece 1 inch thick. Carve a small depression 1 inch from the edge. Now, burn in the socket. Put the spindle's dull end in the depression. Use the bow and handhold to spin it. It'll smoke. You're looking for a blackened, perfect socket. Once you have it, carve a V-shaped notch from the board's edge right into the center of that socket. Your ember will collect here. The handhold, or bearing block, is a piece of hardwood or rock with a small divot. It holds the top of the spindle, and lets you apply downward pressure. Use green leaves or oil from your skin as a lubricant to reduce friction at this end. The bow is a flexible branch, arm's length with a cord, a shoelace, paracord gut, tied loosely end to end. To operate, loop the bowstring once around the spindle. Spindle tip in the fireboard socket, bearing block on top. Place a piece of bark under the V-notch to catch your coal. Now, start a steady, back and forth sawing motion with the bow. Maintain firm, consistent downward pressure. You'll see smoke. Good. Don't stop. Increase speed, increase pressure. You're looking for a thick, acrid cloud of smoke and a pile of black dust glowing in the notch. Carefully transfer that glowing coal to a tinder bundle, a bird's nest of the driest, fluffiest material you can find. Shredded cedar bark, cattail fluff, dry grass. Cradle the coal inside and blow gently, then stronger. It will burst into flame. You didn't just make fire. You bent the world to your will. Without power, your tools are on a clock. A chainsaw is useless without fuel. An angle grinder is dead weight. Even a simple axe needs a file to keep its edge. Our ancestors solved this with the most abundant material on the planet, stone. The art of turning stone into a razor edge is flint knapping. It was the dominant military technology for millions of years. Stones like flint, chert, and obsidian fracture predictably. It's called a conchoidal fracture. Struck correctly, they break like glass, leaving an edge sharper than surgical steel. The basic techniques are percussion and pressure. Percussion flaking uses a hammerstone to strike flakes off a larger core to rough out a shape. You strike the edge at an angle to drive a flake off, slowly working it into a crude biface. A stone worked on both sides. Pressure flaking is for the detail work. Use a pointed tool, like an antler tine, to apply direct, focused pressure to the edge. You press off tiny, precise flakes. This is how you sharpen, refine, and notch the tool. This is how a rock becomes a knife blade, an arrowhead, or a scraper. Expect to fail. Expect to break stone after stone. Your patience will be the difference between a useless rock and a life-saving tool. A well-made stone knife can process an animal, carve wood, and give you an edge. It is a universal tool born from the earth. Do not overlook bone. A deer's leg bone, cleaned and split, can be ground on a rough rock to make needles, awls for punching leather, and lethal points for spears and arrows. These are the instruments of absolute self-reliance. These skills are not separate party tricks. They are an interconnected, overlapping system. The stone knife you make lets you carve your bow drill. The fire you make with that drill lets you survive the night in the shelter you found using natural navigation. Each skill supports the next. This is how you build a layered defense against collapse. More important than any single skill is the mindset. You must shift from being a consumer of solutions to being the creator of them. You must cultivate observation, patience, and absolute confidence in your own abilities. The failure of technology is not the end. It's an order to access a deeper, more powerful part of yourself. This is the real prep. It isn't about hoarding gear. It's about hoarding knowledge. We exist in a fragile world, held up by a web of technology. When that web snaps, the things you trusted will be artifacts, useless, expensive paperweights. But you are not fragile. The human mind is the ultimate survival tool. The knowledge of our ancestors is your birthright, waiting for you to reclaim it. By learning to navigate by the sun, to make fire from wood, to shape tools from stone, you aren't stepping backward. You are stepping up into a future where you are the asset. You bar the weapon. You are self-reliant. Memorize this briefing, share this intel, subscribe, and stand by for your next orders. The fight for tomorrow starts with your training today. Stay ready, stay sharp, outlast.